Many paleo points, knives, and scrapers, after they were used up for their intended usage, were at the end of their usefulness modified into Paleo Story Stone face and mammoth effigies, as this paleo point or knife was as well. So it's not uncommon to see exhausted paleo points and knives modified into Paleo Story Stone offerings. And this is just a magnificent piece here as a Paleo Story Stone effigy. It's unifacial. You can see it's been flaked here. It is a big flake, and it's got percussion flaking here, and then pressure flaking around the edges. The pressure flaking was used to trim up the piece to make it the shape that they wanted to, and to finish off the point or the knife. And they also used the pressure flaking to image the mammoths and the faces by working the perimeters to make the profiles of mammoths and faces in making these Paleo Story Stone face and mammoth effigy offerings. And this has all been worked by ancient man. This is not a geofact. There's been some criticism out there about paleo effigies, or any effigies, being geofacts. Undoubtedly, many of them are. A geofact would just be a natural rock that has not been worked or modified by our ancient ancestors. So it doesn't show signs of human workmanship. All of the artifacts, all of the Paleo Story Stone face and mammoth effigies featured on my YouTube channel are all worked by ancient man. They're all man-made. They all demonstrate human workmanship. And most of them are flaked with percussion flaking and pressure flaking, edge grinding, smoothing, patterned etching, and engraving to image the hair of the mammoths and the faces. So that's an important distinction, that none of the Paleo Story Stones featured on my YouTube channel are geofacts, but rather all of them are artifacts made by our paleo ancestors, and any archaeologist would know that immediately in looking at them. But some people that are not familiar with archaeology or artifacts may be confused between the difference between geofacts and artifacts. Geofacts, again, are just natural rocks that you might see a face image, or you might see an animal image in it. But if it doesn't show signs of workmanship, it wouldn't be modified then by our ancestors, and you couldn't authenticate it as a man-made artifact. And that's an important distinction to make. Now, this is a paleo point or knife, likely used as a knife, and it was resharpened. It was probably 4 inches long. This is 2 3/8 inches long now, probably 4 inches long at one time. It came from Ohio, and is part of the Keith Ray collection. So this came from the Keith Ray collection, 2 3/8 inch paleo. We know it's paleo, not archaic, because they didn't make these in the archaic period. After the mammoth died out, approximately 11,000 years ago, these were no longer made. When the mammoth died out, the mammoth worship, the mammoth tradition died out with it. But this is a great mature mammoth facing off to the left. They just modified the base here and the base here with pressure flaking to image the mature mammoth with the sweeping trunk here, the eye that's been flaked out, and the double hair tuft. Now, double hair tufts are not uncommon with Paleo Story Stone face and mammoth effigies. Here's one made out of Tampa Bay coral of a mammoth facing left. That's all been worked around here. And that is a double hair tuft above the head, again, of a mammoth, mature mammoth facing left. That's also a mammoth facing right with a big sweeping trunk and a double hair tuft made out of naturally occurring volcanic glass from Mount Shasta, California. You can see these have been worked. Like this one here, you can see it's been worked. That whole ridge has been worked and flaked into a sharp scraper-like edge. So all of the, and that's another great Mount Shasta piece, a great Mount Shasta piece made out of volcanic glass. And they use the bubble for the eye of the baby mammoth with the massive hair tuft here above the head. And then when we turn it this way, and it's kind of like a scraper. But the volcanic glass pieces were not used in a utilitarian way. They were only made into effigies. The Paleo Indians valued this volcanic glass so highly that they only made effigies. Now we've got that big sweeping trunk off to the right with this bubble that's now on the surface from having been flaked to the surface as the eye of the mammoth facing off to the right. This is a magnificent Mount Shasta, likely Clovis. Paleo Story Stone face and mammoth effigy made out of naturally occurring volcanic glass, and I've had this tested, and Dr. Michael Gramley's had it tested to confirm that it is naturally occurring volcanic glass. It's not obsidian. It's not even close to obsidian. Obsidian has a lot of oxygen atoms in it, silicon dioxide. This has no oxygen in it at all. So the atomic structure can be viewed in the spreadsheet on the explanation of this volcanic glass, and I welcome anyone to read that explanation of this volcanic glass and check the XRF, X-ray fluorescent spreadsheet done by the Stephen F. Austin State University in Austin, Texas. Which confirms that this glass is naturally occurring and not man-made slag glass, as many had previously thought. Getting back to this piece, though, now we've got the baby mammoth with its little beak of a trunk right there. We see that same imagery with the little bird beak type trunk off to the right now and massive hair tuft. And that was done by pressure flaking the base of it to get that little beak of a trunk, and then pressure flaking this little arc here as well to image the baby mammoth facing right and the mature mammoth facing left. And then the faces are great too. The human faces, the young face with the pointed nose and the eye here and open mouth, all been flaked out there, looking off to the left. And the old face with the bigger drooped hook nose, eye here facing off to the right. So just another great little Paleo Story Stone face and mammoth effigy. A small size, but most of them come in this small size. These are the most common Paleolithic artifact on the planet. They're found on every continent. I have them from every continent except Antarctica. And I've traced them all the way back to Homo habilis, some 2 million years. They've been made by every Homo species. Just outstanding workmanship here for a paleo knife converted to a paleo point story stone face and mammoth effigy from Ohio.